So I guess like the first question that I always like to ask is, Mr. Babatunde, would you like to just share, three fun facts about yourself?
You say what's that?
I was wondering if you'd like to share three fun facts about yourself.
Oh, thank you so much. My name is Shosoya Babatunde Oluwaseyi. I was born here in Lagos, and most of my studies was here in Lagos. I grew up here in Lagos Island. My primary education from the Lagos Island St. Peter's Swaji School, and I proceeded to the secondary school, the Boys Academy at Simpson Street, also in Lagos Island. Then after that, I proceeded to the university. I studied banking and finance at the university. But while studying banking and finance at the university, most of my time, I was using it at the Department of Music because I love music so much. I joined my church choir at a tender age under the tutelage of Mr. Kehinde Okusoya, St. John's Anglican Church, Aroloya. So I have a love for music. So after that, after I have my BXc in banking and finance, I now look at it that I have to go back to my first love, who happens to be music. And from there, I have to get a form to University of Lagos to have a postgraduate in music education. After the postgraduate in music education, I have my first master's also in music education, my second master's also in music theory and composition. And during those time, happens to be a choir master of various Anglican church in Lagos. I don't want to mention some of them, almost 4 or 5 churches. So music is my passion. That's what I do. Um, I just resigned as a head of music at British International School. I I spent 8 years there as a head of music, preparing for my PhD in music education. That's what I'm preparing for now. So I am also a part-time teacher at MUSON Center at MUSON Basic School. I teach there. I teach trumpet, voice, piano, and theory of music. And also just recently, I I got a job. I will not call it a voluntary job to be teaching at MUSON Diplomas School of Music to be teaching class method under my amiable boss,
Mm.
Mama Banke. So that's just a little thing about myself.
Okay, that's great.
Yes, sir.
You also kind of touched upon like what inspired you to become a teacher. But I just kind of a introductory question also. Like in terms of Lagos right now, are classes in person or are they virtual right now?
Are you talking about the school or the Muson Center?
The school you're at, are your classes virtual or?
What really happened is most of the classes are virtual now. I'm telling you because of this pandemic that is tormenting everyone in the world. So most of the classes is done by virtual now.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And then another question I had was also in terms of like it seems like in speaking to other musicians this summer that music isn't commonly seen in like a public school setting. It's more so seen in like private schools. And I was wondering if you can speak a little bit more about that.
So thank you very much about that. First and foremost, I have to say this: the government policy is not helping matters at all because I'm talking about from the federal government. I mean, that's federal government from the Ministry of Education. They merge music with other subjects like dance, drama. They're now calling it CCA, creative art. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not satisfied with that, but there's nothing we can do because music is supposed to be a subject on its own and there's a lot of personnel to teach the music. So I don't know what we are going to do, especially here in Lagos. If I have opportunity to talk to the Commissioner of Education in Lagos, Mrs. Folashade Adefisoye, that I don't know what they can do about that to bring music back to the public school. Of course, the private school are enjoying that. Most of the best teachers in music in Lagos, not even in Lagos alone, Port Harcourt, everywhere, they have a good music teacher. They have a very good music teacher. So and in public school, and which is so painful because I am also a product of public school. So I really appreciate if the Ministry of Education can do something about it to look at and bring back the music to classroom. I guess that's the little things I have to say about that.
So, in what ways do people kind of get involved in music education, or like just playing an instrument? Then, if it's not in public school, do they start a little bit later, or do they kind of go to another school outside of their public school to get started?
What really happened is this, I am not sure. Most of the public school, I'm not even sure whether they have, because through my findings, some of them, they don't even have piano. They do not have a piano, but of course they might have a recorder. Some of them have a recorder to play, but they do not have piano. Some of them, they have a keyboard. And again, personnel to teach the music. Most of the people teaching music, maybe that's why they have to, most of the people teaching music in the public school, they are unqualified teacher. So as far as I'm concerned, maybe that is why the government has to scrap the music. They have to merge it up with another subject. As I've said earlier, music is supposed to be a subject on its own. I do not expect music to be merged with any other subject. So that's just my view about that.
Okay. And then in terms of, I know like kind of here, when people kind of start, especially for violin, it seems like people kind of play Suzuki, or they're kind of like traditional reps in terms of like the Western society. But in terms of like a child getting started in music, are there Nigerian compositions that are kind of used to highlight their culture?
Can you come again?
So like in the US, it seems like when people kind of get started, there's kind of like this Western rap in terms of like Suzuki, or just kind of like traditional rap that is kind of seen within that society. But within like the Nigerian society, when people like are maybe getting started with music, are there kind of compositions that they can play to highlight their
Oh, thank you very much. If I can get your question very well, if we are talking about the Suzuki, I remember the time Mrs. Marion Apata introduced that at MUSON Center. They have a music club, and was I get Mr. Babatunde Awunuga happens to be one of the violinists that study also has the knowledge of that Suzuki method that you're talking about, and they are doing it. I guess MUSON Center, and another place they are also doing that is another music school in Lekki. There is another music school in Lekki. They're also doing stuff like that. And another one, 10 strings music school also is trying to go in that direction, trying to have a music club. And I guess that's the little knowledge I have about that.
okay.
Yes, sir.
And then in terms of like other things that you think will be crucial to improve music education in Lagos, like what do you think those things are?
Wow. Oh, that's a very big question. There is a lot of, I'm telling you, there's a lot to talk about. We are talking about music. First and foremost, I don't know whether the government can help anybody that wants to study music, especially at the tertiary, in the university. There should be a scholarship for that. Our teachers, they should have a training for our teachers. Also, they have to put more funds into art. You have to put more funds into art. Also, our syllabus really need review. And our syllabus need to review because most of our syllabus is a Western-oriented syllabus. As far as I'm concerned, we have to do it 50-50. So what do I mean by 50-50? Our syllabus also supposed to be having some of our composition, some of our own music here. We have to do it 50-50. So when we are dealing with history of music now, we should also be able to study the history of our own art music also, like Fela Showande, Ayo Bankole, Samuel Apabot. The government has to look in that direction. And also they have to get a lot of instruments, getting piano, keyboard, especially we have to get there's some standard keyboard that they are using now that can produce a lot of sound. I guess by doing that, there's going to be a little improvement on music education in Lagos and in Nigeria. Yeah.
Okay. I just
Yes.
want to open the floor to for if anyone else has questions too for Mr. Babatunde. I can take a little break.
That was a lot of things that you just named to answer Daniel's question. A lot of things that you see could use improvement. Do you see any of that happening? Like it's such a process, and there are so many things that need to happen, and so many things that would help. But do you see any progress being made?
Oh, it is possible. It is possible because we have to be positive here. How it's going to happen is this: we need a how am I going to call it? The people. It's not compulsory; it has to be government. I know of some people that contribute to the music education that they are doing it through their own. They are using their own funds to embrace what we are doing in music, and it's possible. It's going to happen. I'm telling you, with a lot of some of us like we talk to some people outside there that, oh, what can you do to help us? This is what we want to do. But I believe it can happen. It's possible. Yes.
So I was mentioning before, I have a trumpet student, and he is very interested in pursuing music as a career. So I was wondering hopefully I can get him to watch this. I'm sure he will. But what advice can you help me? Can we both give him for him to go to be a professional musician?
As in, you said you have a trumpet student, Abby? Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that means you play trumpet.
I do.
Oh, thank you. That was great. I also play trumpet. I play trumpet. I played organ. That was great. So what we're going to do, the first of all, we have to get here now, of course, when you have your trumpet, practice make perfect. That's the first thing that you have to do. Then it has to start from learning the skills on the trumpet, techniques, tonguing, sight reading. What else? We're doing something that I'm trying to be doing the graded exam, like either R.S.C.M or Trinity. Also in Nigeria, we also have our own examination, Musical Society of Nigeria in trumpet. So if you are doing that, I believe the student, because I passed my grade 8 with distinction. I'm talking about R.S.C.M trumpet playing. Also, I have a grade 8 trumpet playing MUSON. Yeah. So by doing all that, I believe the student will improve with practice and with a good professional trumpet like Yamaha, stuff like that. And I even have my trumpet here. Yes, I have it here, a trumpet here. So I believe the person can improve, yes.
Yeah, I think what Dr. Kari was asking is like, what would you advise sorry, Dr. Kari, are you talking about a Nigerian student, one of the students?
Yeah, I am. I think that's great. And like what the best career path for him might be, staying in Nigeria and being a professional musician. Like what should he be thinking and planning to make money as a musician?
Oh yeah. So what Dr. Kari was asking is if you advise, what would you advise the student to do if he must stay in Nigeria and become a professional, if I'm correct? Or if he must travel? Yeah.
So that means
as an educationist, yeah.
Oh, that's a misinterpretation of your question. I'm sorry about that. What I'm going to advise is he has to join an orchestral group. I guess it's good to start from that first, like MUSON Orchestral or MTU. I'm talking about Mountain Top University. I guess they have orchestral group there. He has to. I guess that's where he's going to start from. Also, I know some trumpet player. They also play for church. Because I guess that is the only way I look at it. We can make money because most of the trumpet player, I'm not sure there is a concert for trumpet playing alone that you just be in a concert, you'll be playing. Apart from those people that are already playing in the church, like Nathaniel Bassi, like Victor Ademofe, we have some fantastic trumpet player, but most of them, they are also playing in the church and they have their band. So he has to join, first and foremost, he has to join either MUSON Orchestral or MTU, Mountain Top University. I guess they also have orchestra. He has to start from there. I guess while playing from there, we're able to, I guess that's my own contribution about that. Thank you.
One question I had that was kind of, because I realized, for those who don't know, like Nigeria there's a Christian population, but there's also a Muslim population. And I wonder in terms of like that music education, because it seems like most of the musicians I interact with are for the most part Christian, but I just wonder like, how does that music education tie into, being religion? I mean, being like Muslim, because again, I'm not as familiar with like Muslims who are involved in like music within Nigeria. It seems like it's more so Christians because it's tied so
Of
heavily
course, of
to
course.
church.
That is one of the problem militating against music education in Nigeria, because I must tell you, of course, they have their own music in North, but also in that same North, some of them look at it that music is strictly for Christian, because while music came in through, was it from the through somewhere like Crowder, 1842 in Badagry. So they are looking at it that, if you are going to, if you want to practice music, music is for Christianity. That's one of the problems that we are also having. And as I was said earlier, they also have their own music, but they do not like the education aspect of the music, because I remember they also have their own, what's it called? It looks like a very big trumpet that they normally blow then when their emir is going out. They also have their own indigenous drum that they are doing. But when it's coming to reading a note, I'm not sure they want something like that. So that's also one of the problems. And they look at it that the music is a taboo for them in the North. I'm talking about the music education aspect. So
Huh.
that's it, sir.
Rosaline, Rosaline has a question.
Yeah, sorry, my internet connection is unstable today. Well, to what he just answered about music, as an
Yes.
outsider, because formal music has been rejected by non-Christians. It doesn't matter whether they're Muslim or traditional. And what has happened is people who should have inculcated traditional music into formal music or the other way around haven't done it. So every time you hear music, it's usually in the churches, which was one of the things that I observed and I really wanted to pull away from when I moved here, was to remove music from being just a church event. Because if you do that, you exclude a lot of people. A lot of people who love music, really, because they don't want the association with Christianity, which is fine, and
Of course.
we're very musical people, Africans as a whole. Africans are very musical, but the formalizing of it, they would like to do, if it is their music, they don't want to hear Mozart. They don't want to hear that. That's the problem, And so if you have, you have so much music from the North, songs we sang as children. And I know his last name. He's in Ibadan. He's also a violin restorer. We had talked about putting together a book for children, a book of Nigerian traditional tunes, so that it is the beginning, it is the first thing children learn, it's just Nigerian traditional tunes. We haven't gotten around to it because I have my own plate spinning, but there's a lot of music in the North, and they wouldn't mind formalizing it as long as you don't bring in dead white people. I'm just putting it very blandly, like, they think it's foreign the minute you bring in classical music.
Western
and
oriented.
that's understandable. Yeah, and that's quite understandable. So I think the failure is on the part of the musicians in the South who haven't made music our own, formal music our own. We keep performing foreign music, not available for them. We are not performing our music, So every time you see someone hold a violin, every time you see someone hold a cello, it is foreign music you hear. And so it's not inviting to a native person. That is my observation,
That was true. Thank you so much, Sister Rosalie. That was great.
Let's get deep. Let's get
very deep.
Deep.
Very deep. Very deep.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. This is, yeah. It's like you kind of think about, what is music education in like a broader perspective, and like how does it fit in like this big society? Oh wow. Jeez, I'm gonna need to take some Tylenol after this.
Yeah.
But I guess just one question in terms of for you, Mr. Babatunde, because I think it's so interesting. I feel like being like a person who is involved in music or education as a performer or teaching, it seems like you always have to answer like this question of, why is music important with the society, within a society? Because we know you love music, but then if you were ever confronted by, a parent or someone who just wasn't as supportive of music, like what is kind of your reasoning explaining to them, why is this something that is important within a society?
Thank you very much. First and foremost, as an African, music is a part of our culture and life generally. So music sometimes, our mood. Music, when you look at music sometimes, some people, I can say for myself now, especially when I listen to choral music, I feel something in my body. It's very therapeutic. So generally, music is important. Either you'll go to the mathematics aspect of music, where you'll be doing a calculation, looking at the rhythm, music is there, intellectual capacity, everything that you want to talk about, you'll see music there. So generally, as an African, music is part of us. Music is life. I guess that's the little answer I can give about that. It's more of that. Thank you.
Okay. And then just kind of one more question I had, and then I'm just really going to open it up to anyone else who has question. But in terms of, because it seems like, in doing all of this, but also in other things in life, there's always like an aspect of, adversity. And I asked Rosalind this question during her guest session, but I just wanted to kind of ask, like, what is your piece of advice for people who, face adversity in the midst of trying to accomplish their own goals?
Thank you very much. First and foremost, put God first in whatever you are doing. You need to do that. Whatever you want to do, apart from you have to put God first. Then you have to acquire knowledge, having open mindset, invest heavily on yourself. I'm talking about the professional development. You have to invest in yourself, associate yourself with the right people that's going to lead you to wherever you are going to. Also, never settle down for less. Excellence should be your priority. Whatever you want to do, don't hesitate to ask questions. That's another thing. If you don't get things right, you need to ask questions. Very, very important. And you have to ensure to demonstrate competency in whatever also you do and make yourself happy. I guess, and another thing that I normally do, I do call it, you have a realistic goals. You set a goals for yourself, what you want to achieve. You really need to know that, from Monday to Friday, I'm talking about in a week now, this is what I want to achieve. In a month, this is what I want to achieve. In a year, this is what I want to achieve. You must have that. You set a realistic goal for yourself. I guess by doing that, you will get to your destination through the grace of God. Thank you.
Yeah. I feel like my brain just gets bigger every time you talk. I'm just like, woo. Yeah. Okay. I just want to open up to like, anyone else who may have any questions, but I'm kind of, yeah. At least for now, I don't have any more questions for Mr. Babatunde. And if no one has questions too, that is completely fine. I'll just give it like a couple minutes. Just play by ear. Yeah.
Can I quickly say something?
Oh, what were you saying, Mr. Babatunde?
Oh, I just want to say something. Just want to comment all this. Yeah, I just want to say something. Can I?
Oh, yeah. Go right ahead. Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much. First and foremost, I want to appreciate you, sir. I'm talking about Mr. Daniel Kumakwai for this. I'm telling you, for this was a Akojopo Music Foundation. You are doing a lot of good job. I'm telling you. Then also permit me to say a big thanks to my big brother there, Mr. Sheyi Ejibade, for introducing me to this. I guess it was lovely. It was really a laudable project. And everyone in the house, my doctor, I say I really appreciate you say you play trumpet. I'm happy. I would like to meet you. Tiana, you're the best. You're the best. You are doing a wonderful job. I'm telling you, you guys are wonderful. I'm telling you, if you call me another day, I'll try my best. I will also be available. Mr. Kumar, I close to you. Bravo. You're doing a good job. Yeah.
It's also, I don't know why people keep calling me Mr. Daniel. It's weird. I'm like, just call me Daniel. Just call me Daniel.
You're Mr. Daniel. You're Mr. Daniel. Yes. You're Mr. Daniel.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Perhaps.
Yes, sir.
You can just call me Daniel.
Oh, no problem. No problem. No problem.
Yeah, this is so interesting. Like, I feel like, hearing about this and also hearing about like what Rosaline's doing, it seems like there's just so much going on, but at the same time, I'm always like, does that mean we should just all give up? I feel like,
And all, I'm sorry, and also Rosaline, thank you for that contribution. Thank you very much.
All right. If no one, I always like keeping these guest sessions short, just so like once we edit it, people are more likely, I think people are more likely going to watch, a 20 to 30-minute video versus an hour-long video. So that's why I'm like, I just kind of keep it just, watchable, almost like a TV show, not like the Titanic or something. So, but if no one has any more questions, this was really interesting. I feel like I learned something new today. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I love Zoom calls, like just a little awkward, just like that perfect amount. But
yeah. I try and facilitate.
All right, do you want me to play something on the trumpet before I go? Can I play something on the trumpet before you?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Let's see. I play my now.
We'll use this as the ending music.